Hi guys, I am this week going to be talking a little bit about UV powders, specifically glow powder and UV color changing powder. Robin has a few of these coming at some point in time, so I just thought I would give you some basic tips with working with them. First of all, UV powders are not the same as mica powders. The only thing similar about them is the fact that they are both powdered. Mica powder is kind of a mined from the earth situation, and it is just ground up so fine and mixes just a teeny tiny little bit into epoxy, makes a big difference. With UV powders and glow powders, you need more. And you need, with glow, if you want to do like an all-over glow cup, you need to mix it like crazy. So what I do is I'll mix it into part A and then add that to part B before I go. But the first thing I want to do is show you that you can make your own color shift UV glitter. So I have here, this is Robin's Pink Lemonade. I love this color. It's just so pretty and pink and light. So I'm going to put this into a measuring cup. And I know I've done a video before of using micas to change glitters, but in this case I'm using a UV powder to change this into a UV glitter, and we're going to use that in the bookmark or the car coaster I'm about to make. I'm going to use molds today. So I'm going to take some of this UV powder, which is just a pale purple color, and it goes to a darker purple when you expose it to light. And I have a little bit of sunbeam coming in. Like, you need a fair amount. Like, this is not the little bit that you would take for mica powder. You need a fair amount to be effective. And it kind of stuck here, so I'm going to scrape this off. And then I'm going to mix this into my glitter. And we're going to see what it does when we mix it into epoxy. This is a fair bit of glitter. I'm going to have excess that I can use on a different project. But let me just show you what happens. So I have this glitter all covered with this powder, and it's still pink. You can see that it's still pink. So I'm going to put this on my windowsill for like 2 seconds, and I'll be bringing it back and show you what it happens. It turns quite purple, this particular one. It's this pink, and as soon as it is exposed to the UV, it goes purple. So now I have a pink to purple UV color shift by mixing a pink glitter with a pale purple UV color shifting powder. So that's how we achieve that. Now, you can do the same thing with glow powders into glitter or glow powders into mica. I've done a glow-in-the-dark cup with chameleon micas that glows beautifully, and I mixed the white glow powders into chameleon powders to do this, and this glows so brightly. But it disappears. It lightens the chameleon slightly because it's a white, but it looks pretty cool in my opinion. But that's a different thing. So, but you can do that. You can mix your glow powders in with mica powders, in with chameleon powders, in with glitters. But for best clear results, you want to mix it into your epoxy and then add the glitter or the mica to that, because you have to mix so much of it instead of mixing it into the glitter. So that's just the way that I prefer to do that. So we're going to work on, I have a couple of car coasters and some letter molds on the standby because I'm going to be probably making too much. So what I'm going to do firstly is I'm going to mix, I don't know, I'll do 5 and 5 mils of epoxy here. This is DIY art resin, artisan, I guess. I don't usually do this part with you guys. And I usually heat this part up before I start, so it's not quite so thick, but we'll just go with it. Let's see where this ends up. It scraped kind of down a little bit so I can get an accurate measurement for my bee. Okay, so that's just a little over 5. Always put my lids back on so I don't accidentally cross thread them to a different container. Doesn't matter what number you go to, just so long as you're in the same spot for both parts. You need it to be even and equal. And if it's not equal, it won't cure correctly. So, and that's pretty close. Okay, so this one's my part A. So I'm going to, get my hands off here. You can tell by the weight. The part A will always be heavier than part B with these types of thick resins. So this is my part A, and I'm going to mix this glow powder into it, and I'll show you how I managed to do this. How I managed to do this with gloves on is, so this is a white glow powder, but it glows to a blue. I'll wipe this off. It's a different texture than the UV powder, and it's not the same as mica, so you need still a fair bit. Like, you don't want just a little tiny tip of your stir stick like you do with mica powder. So I'm going to do 2 of those because I want a nice bright glow. These don't have names yet, so that's why I'm not telling you what they are. And I'm going to start mixing this into my glow, or into my part A. My part B is over there. And you can hear it's gritty. And you need to mix and mix it really well. I don't know why I put the stir stick in here, because I like the Infinity sticks from DIY. They're much nicer to hold on to. It doesn't matter, your timing or anything doesn't matter at this point in time because you haven't mixed your 2 parts together. So this is why you do this way. Because you can tell whether or not you have a good mix and you have a good amount and you have time to work with it and adjust it if you need to, if you've just got it into part A. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this in my windowsill for 2 seconds, and then I'm going to take it into the bathroom. I'm not taking you with me because that's going to just cause a whole lot of shaking going on. But I'm going to take it into my bathroom and I'm going to check it and see how brightly it is glowing. Maybe I will take you with me. I'll just start and stop the video. You can use a sunny window, you can take it outside, you can use a UV flashlight, which I seem to have misplaced. Oh, there it is. You can use a UV flashlight to charge it, but you have to charge it using UV rays. Now, your UV, sunlight is your best UV that you can get, but that's not always available when you're working on things. So I'm just going to set this in my windowsill for 2 seconds, and then I'm going to take this into the bathroom, and because there's no windows in there, so it's really dark. So I'm going to pause my video and come back. Okay, we're in my bathroom. It's been a very short period of time in my windowsill, and you can check to see that it's glowing consistently throughout your whole cup, and so you know it's evenly mixed, and you know whether or not you've got enough brightness in your glow to do what you want it to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix this into this. So that's my part A, and it's going into my part B. And I'm just going to mix it as usual. If you've used glow powders before and it's coming out streaky or weak, it's just because you're not using enough powder. So you need to use enough powder, and you need to make sure, like if it's blotchy, that you mix it really well. And the best thing to do, like I say, is to charge it and then check it and see that it is what you want it to look like. So now I'm going to mix my parts together, and you don't want to sit here and watch me do this for 4 minutes, so I'll come right back. Okay, now I am mixing up a batch of clear epoxy with mixing the glow powder into the epoxy. You want to set a timer because it's going to be a lot harder to tell that you have a proper mix on it because it is cloudy. So this is what it looks like. It's all cloudy and white, milky kind of color. So you'll have a harder time figuring out that you have a good mix on it if you don't set a timer based on your epoxy recommendations. So now I'm just going to finish mixing this up and we'll move to next steps. Okay, I have my epoxy all mixed up and we're ready to move on. I'm going to do a couple of car coasters and see what that gets me. So into this epoxy, I'm going to mix Robin's Blue Opal. It's an extra fine. Clearly I haven't opened this yet, because I want it to still sparkle because everything else is going to be glitter. So I'm just going to mix in some of this Blue Opal so that it ties in with the blue of the glow. So there's just a slight bluey purple shift as it catches the light, and then when it glows, it'll glow that beautiful blue that you saw in the bathroom. So that's what I'm going to do with this one. Now I'm going to take this glitter here that we mixed up with UV colorant. Don't think I'm going to use all of it right in one go here. We'll see. With chunky glitters working in molds, you need more glitter than you would use on like a cup because it tends to sink, and so the top will be without glitter and then all of the glitter will be in the bottom. So you kind of want to make it thicker when you're using chunkier glitters. So you need more than you think you would. This one I also got from Robin. It's Iris Gold Azure. I don't know if she has it up on the website or not. So I'm going to put, and this is also an extra fine. And this is gonna tie in with the blues that I used with my glow and my opal. And then this is just Jenny. It's got the blue and it's got pinks and purples in it, so it's going to go nicely and tie everything here together. This one's really fun. And again, when you're working with molds and glitter, you need, or chunky glitters, you need more than you would think of the chunky glitter. So I've got 2 extra fines, and I've got 2 chunky mixes, and some glow, and some UV powder, and I'm all happy about that. So I'm going to add this epoxy into each of these. And I'm totally out of frame, so I'm sorry about that. I probably mixed more than I need for these, but then you don't want to be running out of epoxy when you're in the middle of a mold, because then they're not going to cure correctly. All right, let's get to mixing these up. So this is kind of what you want. You want it kind of almost paste-like, and then it's not going to sink as much with the chunkies. You still want it to move though, so there's kind of a fine line. But it's kind of a globby, not super fluid, because if you do the super fluid, you're going to, all of your glitter is going to sink to the bottom and your top is going to be clear. So that's not your goal. So let's get these. And you just have to mix until they're combined with things like this. So there we go. Now what I'm going to do, I think, is I'm going to do kind of maybe stripes. So I'm just going to lay this in. It's kind of like spread icing when you're doing this part. Molds you usually pour, but when you're using chunky glitter, it's a different thing. So there's my pink color shift, and I think I'll do my opal next to that. This one is more pourable because it's extra fine, so it's not as big a problem as it sinks down. It's still thick. And then I'll use my Just Jenny, one of my favorite of Robin's mixes next to mine, which is It's a Miranda Thing. That's also a good one. It's just this one went a little better with my color scheme here. And that's more than I wanted right there. You got to work a little quick when it comes to these, because as it settles, it spreads. Okay, we'll throw this azure in there. So this is going to have spots that glow in the dark. It's going to have spots that are different in sunlight and not. And this isn't usually how I would do something like this, but it's putting it all together for just the purposes of this video. Now for my extra, I just have this alphabet mold. I don't know where I got it from. Pretty sure I didn't get it from Robin, but I'm just going to put spots here and there of the different colors. In layers. And as it sinks and blends together, it'll all come together kind of cool. I often do this with leftover epoxy, and you get some neat effects. I make magnets out of them. You get some neat effects with the different layers and different colors in different places. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. No, I don't know. We'll do enough. I don't have any real purpose for these. Don't want to get a hair in there. And if you end up with not enough to fill one, that's okay. You can just add to it another time. Be interesting to see how these come out with the glow and the UV differences for making a keychain maybe. I made my son a glow-in-the-dark keychain using just glow-in-the-dark powder, and it works fantastic. Like, he puts it into his ignition, and by the time he gets to where he's going, it's glowing like mad. So yeah, that's about all I want to do right now, and I'll post pictures once these are all set and done. These, I can also, you know what I'm going to do for these car coasters is I'm going to, I've got these stripes, but this part's going to change to purple. This part's going to glow. That part's going to do nothing. So I'm going to do a drag around. Get these sort of mixed together so that I have color change and glow up at the top as well. Just to create a little interest. You do have some work time when it comes to this stuff, but you don't have unlimited time. So once it starts to get to a little too gloppy, then you don't want to be doing this anymore. I don't really want to mix it so that I lose my effects. So that's what I'm going to do there, and this is what I'm going to do here. I'm sorry you missed that whole filling my molds up here. I just did blah 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 all over the place, so that's and did it in a layer. So I will show you what these look like when I can demold them.